All right. Whatever, y'all get it. We can't have nice things. We can't have nice things. Hey, y'all, welcome to We Have Some Notes. Tee and Tel. Hey, T.
Hey, Tel, how are you?
You know, I'm here. Every day feels like Tisha Campbell. I'm still here.
Accurate.
Here.
Yeah.
She needs to drop a remix to that.
I'm still here. So,
how are you?
It's been a week. Mm-hmm. It's been a busy week. It's still going. It hasn't stopped yet, but I'm still here.
We're still here. That's really all that matters. Well, we have a nice show put together for the people today. I think I would tell y'all what's on the agenda. And that way. Okay. So on today's show, we are going to briefly talk about what's in theaters or what are some new releases that are on streaming right now. Going to go over some fashion looks for the Emmy Awards this past week. We're going to talk about Kehlani and SZA versus Timbaland and his, AI artist, I guess. Cardi B has her new album out, Am I the Drama? So we'll dig into the rollout with that. And then we're going to some real life newsy stuff because we got to talk about the developments with Trey Reed, because that is crazy. We're going to talk about how the Democrats have clearly lost it. Per usual, Jimmy Kimmel is suspended. ABC is in hot water. That's pretty much the rundown for the show. We have some time for some quick notes. I'll throw in some more quick notes that we get into. But first, we can start with dun 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 dun. Hold on. Somebody said, let me get my.
Oh, Lordy.
Get it together, friend. All right. We are going to play a game. And you are going to like this game. The game is called Somebody Said. Okay?
Yeah.
And you are going to guess who this quote is attributed to. It can be a movie quote, a music lyric. It can be something that somebody said this week, perhaps in an interview, something that I just imagined in my head that somebody said. Okay, I made up the rules here. All right, indirect quotes. You just got to keep up. All right, are you ready to play? Somebody said.
No, but we can keep going.
All right. First up, somebody said, see you back here when I headline.
Ooh, that's a little spicy.
Isn't it spicy?
See you back here when I headline.
Okay, hold on. Where's my dramatic music?
I need a clue.
You need a clue already?
I need a clue already.
Okay. This is something that recently got manifested and actually came into fruition for this person.
See you back here when I hear.
Okay, that is time. The correct answer is okay. The correct answer is Sabrina Carpenter. Listen, Little Bit was at Coachella last year in 2024.
Okay.
And she is now been announced to be the headliner.
Sure.
Yep, she's going to be headlining let me see if I can find her. Here we go.
Love that for her.
So, yep, look, she's Numero uno. It's going to take place on Friday, or her set, Friday, April 10th and the 17th. And she is going to be headlining this year's upcoming, or I guess next year's upcoming.
Next year's Coachella.
Yep. And this is her when she said it. Let's see.
Headline.
This is so adorable.
Coachella, see you back here on a headline.
I know that's right. Sometimes you just have to
manifest it.
You have to manifest it. So congratulations to Sabrina. And then I see that Justin Bieber is going to be there. I didn't check out the full roster, but it's going to be a nice Coachella next year. So, all right.
Have you ever thought about going to Coachella?
If I was gonna go, I was gonna go see Beyonce.
Right.
I was gonna go. I should have been there for Beachella. That's where we should have been. Who would I need to see at Coachella to bring me out to Coachella besides Beyonce?
I'm not gonna hold you. I'm not going.
I mean, I feel like, listen, I feel like I think it has to be an event. It has to be like stuff set up for us to do, because it's like you're standing outside. Remember that scene from Issa in Insecure when they
Yep, I sure do.
Yeah, that's really what it's given. Like getting like a nice like hotel or a place somewhere nearby.
Well,
and
make it
like
those who are invited there and they can get, the $50,000 tents and stuff, their experience is way different. So as I saw that, I said, okay.
I'm manifesting us getting invited to one of those $50,000 and up experiences. And then when that happens, I will be more than thrilled.
More than willing and happy.
More than thrilled. So I need air conditioning. I need, I need different type of accommodations in my older age. I ain't got it in me to be out there in the sweltering heat. Just for giggles. All right, but we're going to go into our next clue. Are you ready?
Ready.
Somebody said, the power of 3 will set us free.
And they said that this week? I ain't gonna get it, friend. I ain't gonna get it.
Okay. You probably wasn't gonna get this because this wasn't a direct quote. It was an indirect quote. Feeling vibe, I don't know, but listen, them Etsy witches that came together. Okay, let me give you guys the backstory. A few days before, maybe exactly 2 days, so 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was shot and killed, Jezebel, the newspaper, ran an article, a satirical article about how someone went on Etsy, located a witch to put a hex on Charlie Kirk. Let me listen. I can.
What?
I can't make this stuff up. So this is the Jezebel article. It has been updated. And this was written September 8th originally. And there's an editor's note that says, on Monday, September 8th, we published a humorous piece titled, "We Paid Some Etsy Witches to Curse Charlie Kirk." And the piece was intended as satire. It made it absolutely clear that we wish no physical harm and we stand by every word. But in light of Wednesday's events and on a recommendation of our lawyer's child, we have removed the text. We've removed the article. And so they have taken it down. So I can't exactly see exactly what was written by this person that went on Etsy to purchase the hex, but I did find somebody on Instagram. And this person, let's see, her name is Laura Chung, and she's into all things like astrology, but she does have like a master's in psychology. So she like combines all of that, and she, whatever, you guys will see what she has to say, like her take on this Etsy witch. Let me know if you can hear the sounds.
Etsy which curse worked or not, I did want to point to something very important. In the article, the author says, I timed the purchase perfectly with the August new moon in Virgo. According to the astrology girls on TikTok, the specific new moon is the perfect time for forming new habits and aligning goals. My personal goal, cursing Kirk. The stars were aligned. Just for the record, I never said to curse or hex anybody on that specific new moon in Virgo. Okay. This type of astrology is called selectional astrology when you pick an auspicious day and time, and it's setting intentions around the new moon. However, I would caution against hexing and cursing people just because you might accrue karmic debt. And by karma, I just mean the law of cause and effect. Hexing someone is some serious magic, so you want to make sure you know what you're doing. At the same time, I'm not judging. If that's the kind of witch that you are, if that's the kind of magic that you're willing to take one for the team, all power to you, babe.
Listen. Listen. The fact that this happened literally 2 days before, it's given no one's coming to save you, but at last resort, hit up Etsy. I don't know. It was just a very weird, it was a very strange coincidence. I imagine it's something like in Harry Potter when you dib and dab dark arts. I'm serious. When you was dibbling and dabbling in dark arts and Voldemort just started kind of like not being human anymore and walking around in the cloak and just like, listen, if that's the kind of thing you into, be prepared. I feel like you're going to get that in return. Anyway, power of three, the power of three. Are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready for the next one.
Okay. Somebody said it's time to spin the block. Okay, let's get our music together.
Give me a clue, please.
What's a clue? I imagine that pina coladas were involved, perhaps, perchance. Maybe a little sauce.
Pina coladas were
Perhaps, perchance. Margaritas. Pico de gallo. Bottomless drinks, perhaps. I don't know.
Lord. No idea.
Spin the block. Okay. All right.
The only person that came to mind was Nelly and Ashanti, and I don't think they've been out there lately, so I have no idea.
Okay, this is Lori Harvey and Dansom Idris. They were recently seen all canoodled together, all cozy, rekindling in Mexico. So they have spent the block, perhaps, for chance, or maybe they never even broke up and they didn't want us in their business. Either way, they are back. Paparazzi caught them out and about.
Yeah, I hadn't heard nothing about this story at all.
This is, let me see if I can pull up what TMZ had to say. Look at them. TMZ is reporting that they're giving their relationship perhaps another shot. They appear to be giving their relationship another go because they're vacationing together down in Mexico. And it looks like the sparks are flying. Okay. We got all the pictures of them splashing each other with water, child. He's got his arms around her shoulder. They were frolicking along the beach. Yeah, I listen. I thought they were adorable. So I'm here for that. I'm here for them getting back together. Okay, let me see if I can get you. Are you ready for the next one?
I'm ready.
You're gonna get one, right?
I'm not, but we can keep going.
Okay. Here we go. All right. I overly did this for my brown girls.
I know this one. I heard this quote, but I can't not connecting. I just heard this about 4 days ago or so. Dang it. Who was I watching?
Okay, do you need a clue?
Yes, give me a clue, please.
This person. Oh, well, okay. This person said this is a direct quote, and they may have manifested this to happen as well.
She said this as a direct quote.
I overly did this for my brown girls.
What is her name?
Come on.
Fitness. Was engaged to that. She was dating for a while. Kayla.
Yes. Come on, Kayla Nicole.
Kayla Nicole. She went on stage with.
Yes. Recently said this about her time on stage with none other than Chris Brown. Let's see if we have a clip of a little bit of what Kayla Nicole and Chris Brown were giving to the people. Let's share it to the screen. There we go. All right.
I knew I heard it.
I mean, I'm going to let it play while I read her quotes. So she was up there doing a lot, girl. She put on her Instagram, well, that was fun. I had to really do it for the teenage me that was blasting Chris Brown in her bedroom, and for the mini me who saw him at one of her first concerts. For the woman who sometimes feels like she has to be a monolith instead of multi-layered. I did it for the smart girls, the cool girls, the sexy girls, the fun girls, for all of us who are all of those things at once, and I overly did it for my brown girls. Thank you. And I mean, look at the leg. Look. It was a lot going on, Kayla. It was a lot going on. She got her life that night. So congratulations, Kayla. You definitely showed up and showed
Good
out.
for her. I guess that's the good side of the Chris Brown viral story versus the not so good side of the Chris Brown viral story.
But not focused on the good stuff. So I'm happy that she was prepared. I just imagine her being in her room, being like, yeah, I'm gonna roll like this, and I'm gonna lay it to the side like this. I'm lift my leg up like this, because that takes practice. She was practicing for this moment. So congratulations, Kayla. You showed out with that one. All right, are you ready for the next one?
We got another one?
We do.
Okay.
I'm on pretty punishment.
Child, Saweetie.
Come on, I didn't even have time to put on the correct soundbite. Yes, so Saweetie recently sat down with Nessa in her interview, and she described her experience so far in the entertainment industry as her being on a pretty punishment. Let's see if I can play a little bit of that for you guys. Which, I mean, listen, some points may be valid. Let's hear.
Okay, let's see if these points are valid.
Let's see what she said.
Count you out
since I started.
Talk about it, man. Because I think people, look, to be honest, people see you're gorgeous. Mm-hmm. You're getting endless bags. Mm-hmm. You are, listen, that girl, right? Yeah. I don't think they understand how many doors, how many rejections, how many times people have counted you out.
You know, I saw it on TikTok. They were like, they talk about pretty privilege, but they don't talk about pretty punishment. There's been so many times I've just been counted out, and I know that it's behind animosity. I know it's because of a hidden agenda, but it makes me work harder. But this has happened like my whole life. So it's like what I deal with in the industry is just, you know, different face, same case.
Oof. Count you.
That is what Saweetie had to say about her experience thus far in the entertainment industry. I mean, I feel like she has some valid points in that it does feel kind of sabotagey what's going on with her career. She has not had an album be released yet. She's had some of the biggest songs out, some bigger and performed better and sold better than artists that actually had albums released. And I just don't understand why the label has, I mean, it's been years since she's had a McDonald's brand meal. Like, this is this kind of traction, emotion that you give to like really, really high caliber artists. And so it just makes no sense that they wouldn't act on that motion and have her album drop. I do feel like, as with most things, it's something going on with her team or the label. So, yeah.
I think she said things there, and she was very ambiguous in what she was actually trying to say. I don't know. My head is stuck in those artists that came up in the 2000s, and they were pretty and they didn't even have the talent or the range, and they were pushed through. So I'm trying to, because she didn't say a whole lot. She talked around it. So I'm trying to understand, where does the being attractive part play into the punishment in this particular situation? Because
yeah, I feel like I took it as if somebody, powers that be, are trying to humble her and purposely sabotage her career. That's what I took it as. And I feel like there's a lot of that going on with a few artists where they're like, hey, like, I remember she talked about it maybe a couple years ago that some executive told her, don't worry about doing X, Y, or Z, just learn how to twerk out on stage. Like, I don't know what's going on with these labels. They are not.
I think that's always been there, though. Like, we knew of some artists that came up and they were, you know, conventionally attractive, and they didn't have as much talent as some of the other artists, and they faded to the background. I think Lotto is very attractive, and, you know, her stuff is, like she said, that there was some, Saweetie in this particular interview with Nessa said there was some animosity going on, but she didn't expound on it. So I can't draw a conclusion if she's not giving us the details to draw a conclusion from.
Yeah, I just know whatever's going on, she should have an album. There should be an actual album out with her right now. And at the end of the day, that falls on the label. So hope Saweetie is able to get some motion or act on the motion that she has put out there, because I like her music. She has some really dope songs. That concludes today's or this week's somebody said. See, we're I don't know. I feel like
I'm
we
so happy it's over.
We gotta get you
'Cause I can do
past.
that.
We gotta get you
One or
past
two?
the 1 out of 5. If we could get you maybe like 3 out of 5.
I got 2 out of 5, thank you.
You know what? You're right. You're right. You did.
Yeah.
You did. My
I got
bad.
2 out of 5.
All right. So what do we want to talk about next? Oh, okay. Let me share with you guys some of the stuff that I am watching that is new out on TV today. Okay, this first one is called The Girlfriend. It's crazy. It's streaming on Prime. Let's see. And it's kind of like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Gone Girl ×2. Okay, it's about this guy. He meets this girl and he's kind of like smitten with her, so he wants to introduce her to his mom and his family, and they just start, the mom and her, they do not see eye to eye. They do not like each other. They do not trust each other. Well, the mom doesn't trust the girl, and they're like one-upping each other and trying to like get the vie for the son's attention. It gets crazy, and it's not a lot of episodes. It's not a lot of episodes at all. So right now, this actually has 2.2 million season views, over 10.8 million hours streamed, and week 1 is doing really, really well on Prime Video. Have you seen or heard of The Girlfriend? The Girlfriend it's crazy.
I heard of it. I've been planning to watch it. My week has been really very busy. I really do want to watch it. Someone has described it to me sort of kind of like a non-funny version. What was the movie that Jane Fonda and J-Lo did?
Was it called The Stepmother? I don't know. That movie is so, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, they say it's kind of like that, but not Monster-in-Law. Monster-in-Law. And they're like, this is the not funny version of that.
Crazy. They are both, the mom and her is like if Gone Girl had a TV series and her mother-in-law was equally as nuts as she is. Like they are both, like every episode you think you want to root for one person. No. Like, oh, I'm rooting for the mom because like she's protecting her son. Well, oh no, she didn't took it too far. Okay, now I'm rooting for the girl. Oh no, the girl is really plotting. Like it's like every episode switches perspectives between her character and the mom's character. I'm on a finale. I don't know how it's about to end, but I know it's not about to end well, child, because they are both nuts. So
basically, he picked his mom.
No,
he just, if the mom is as crazy as the girlfriend, did he just like pick somebody just like his mom?
No.
Okay. All right. Now I'm really gonna watch.
The mom is just like overprotective. And the girl is just obsessive. And she has a history. She has a history of being obsessive and being a stalker. But she's got her fangs in the sun. So the son won't listen to the mom. And so the mom is like, well, I'm going to take you to the extreme to get you away from this girl. And so she just starts crossing the line. It's definitely, I'm looking at this like this is some
okay, I'm gonna watch.
Mess. Okay, so yes, check out The Girlfriend. Listen, another one that I have been watching this weekend is Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black.
Right, the second season is back.
Tyler Perry was this series, Beauty in Black, was the most streamed series of the week for Netflix. Season 2 opened with 3.1 million views and 21.2 million hours streamed in week 1. It's already beat the season 1 opening numbers. If you like soap operas, if you are okay with characters repeating themselves multiple times in the same scene, if you just like completely implausible, unbelievable story arc development, this is a juicy hot mess. Like when I tell you I am embarrassed, but I am tapped in. I am embarrassed to be watching this, but I can't look away from this show. It is. Did you watch season 1?
I have not watched season 1. But it sounds like this is a really good guilty pleasure sort of a show.
Look, I feel like I have to talk about it like this. Beauty in Black is, and it's supposed to take place in Chicago. This is the fakest looking Chicago landscape I've ever seen portrayed.
Yeah,
on
you
TV
can't miss a Chicago landscape. It's too
it brought nothing to the story, so he very well much could have just done this in Atlanta. But it takes place in fake Chicago. There's these group of strippers, okay, 2 girls and 1 guy, and we learn that they are actually being forced to strip against their will. They're actually being trafficked because some really powerful people have they're holding something over them, and they're basically giving an ultimatum that you will either do what we tell you to do or you will go to jail. Meanwhile, we have this powerful Black family that owns this, I guess, hair care dynasty. They're like close to being billionaires at this point because, I mean, the lavish lifestyle, they've got stables, they've got acres and acres of land that all the family has their own private mansions and private roads on. Each and every one of the family members are unwell. Each and every one. They've got Richard Lawson being a criminal. What is the lady's name? Lynn? Is it Lynn? It's not Lynn Whitfield. Is it Lynn Whitfield? Is it Lynn Whitfield? She's from East Bayou.
Whitfield? No, it's not.
Yes. Well, is it? Yeah, I think it's her. But she is okay. So she's nuts. They've got her swearing and doing a whole bunch of stuff. They've got the daughter-in-law is running a company, and she's just as like cutthroat. I have never seen characters like this on TV before. And just Tyler Perry's mind, there's this one character who I believe he made in his own image. And he's coming in to save the day, but he's like let me not say that. So this character is on the down low. And the reason why I say I think he's made in Tyler Perry image is not because he's on the down low, but because he has like this, he goes on his power trip. Like he's very like cutthroat, and all the family is intimidated by him. And I just imagine that this is like Tyler's vision. I don't know. It's very personal when you start writing TV shows and creating shows and characters. And that's why I'm like, I never wanted to know this about Tyler Perry's mind. I never wanted to know it can go in this deep, dark place. It's such a switch from the church and Medea and wholesome jokes because it's nasty. Like the stuff that's happening in this show is nasty. I can't turn away. It's a train wreck that I cannot turn away from. So sorry. But it's good. And then the other thing that I'm looking forward to watching, I'm actually going to go check it out later tonight, I believe. It's not what the hubby says. Hubby says is him. I'm looking forward to
you told me about this.
Jordan Peele is producing it. Director Justin Timpen is going to be, I guess, like a sports thriller. I don't know. It's starring Marlon Wayans. And so I don't know if it's in that Jordan Peele type of creepy world. There will definitely be some type of twists on this movie. And I am looking forward to seeing it. Are you going to go see him? Or have you seen any good movies lately?
I haven't seen anything. My life is so active. I'm never sitting down. This is the longest I get to sit down. So I guess I'm gonna go see him because I do really want to see this one. But I think once we get in like the harsh Chicago winter, I'm gonna have all of this stuff saved up.
Well, it's coming. Winter's coming, friend.
It's coming fast. Yeah. I look, I'm welcoming it because I would like to sit down. I would like for some of it to slow down. It's a lot going on. But yeah. I do want to watch Girlfriend. Is that what it's called? Girlfriend.
The Girlfriend.
The Girlfriend.
Yes,
and I love that I have a whole season of Beauty and Black to watch because you all have been like sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for season 2. So.
And you know what? It's not even done yet. So they've been releasing this in a way that makes it get released in different parts. So we just got part 1 of season 2. Don't know when part 2 will be out yet. Yeah. But it should be 16 episodes. So we've got just the first 8 episodes so far. Listen, tell me when you watch it. You know, you
wait a minute. Hold on. This Tyler Perry filmed all 16 episodes of season 2 in 12 days.
Yeah. What else did you think? He was gonna take his time, that he was gonna let the actors learn their lines, that he was gonna let the editors actually find stuff to edit out, that they were gonna edit out him yelling action and cut. No, this is a Tyler Perry production. I need you when you're watching this to be within the world of a Tyler Perry production. Okay, we're talking this got done in 48 hours. We're talking he's gonna repeat himself a lot. The characters are gonna say the same. You're gonna hear, I gotta get out of this hospital. Kimmy, I gotta get out of this hospital. Kimmy, I gotta get out of this hospital. You're gonna hear they killed my wife. My wife is dead. My wife is dead. They killed my wife. You're going to hear that 55 times in the same scene. But be clear, it's a good Tyler Perry for what he gives us. It's like watching a Lifetime movie. When you're about to watch a Lifetime movie, you have level set your expectations. You don't think you're getting the Oscar.
I just asked the question. That's some hard work, and quick correction is not Lynn Whitfield that's in the series. It is Debbie Morgan, who was
Debbie Morgan. Yes,
bio.
See, this is why I need to stop. We need to. I went back when I was just editing some clips. We have messed up everybody's name. At one point, we were talking about the movie with Marseille and Viola Davis, and we're like, it's so cute that Anthony Hamilton is playing Marseille. Martin's dead again. I'm like,
I definitely was thinking Anthony Anderson.
Yeah, we got everybody's name wrong, so we gonna have to fix that. But yeah, I am. Debbie is in there acting a fool. That's all I got for you. All right. What is next? Next up, did you get a chance to watch? Because I did not. The Emmys at all?
No.
Okay. Well, the Emmys came on. Beautiful gowns, lovely gowns. That's all I can say about it. Jenna Ortega looked amazing. They said
was really cute.
Like a reference to Death Becomes Her. So I thought she looked amazing on the red carpet. And Lisa from, I think it's Blackpink, they're in that pink ensemble that just looks like flowy pink flamingo. She looks beautiful in that gown, and that's pretty much all I have for the Emmys. I don't know who won. I don't know.
Won? Oh,
I don't know, child. I don't know.
I
came to talk about beautiful gowns. Beautiful. Who
was the belle of the ball who walked away? I'm
gonna give it with Jenna Ortega and Lisa for me. In this pink dress.
Yeah, Lisa in this pink dress is stunning. It looks so whimsical.
Yeah, it's hey. The Emmys happened. So you guys, I mean, I do know that it brought in about 7.4 million viewers on Sunday night. And it's up 8% from last year's ceremony, according to Nielsen data. But I was not one of the people who watched it this year. Yeah, I got nothing, but hey, the people look beautiful.
I love Selena Gomez. I'm not a huge fan of this. I know she's maturing as a woman, but that neckline is still way too mature for Selena Gomez. It's giving older and not in like a chic way. It's just,
I thought she looks lovely. I'm not
she
mad
looks
at
lovely.
it.
It's just too much older. It's you can be sophisticated without being stuffy.
I don't think it was stuffy. I liked it. I thought she looks
You're
nice and
such a positive. That dress is not for her. That's the wrong age group.
I mean, Selena is our age. Like, she's not that much. She's not a young
and I wouldn't wear
teeny
that
bopper anymore.
I would wait until I was in my
I will wear it. I love it. I think it's sophisticated. I think it's classic. I think that when they pull the archive,
so much. Yeah.
When they pull the archive in 10, 15 years, it's still going to be just as chic in the future as it was today.
It's just very, very I would have thought I'd see it on like Glenn Close.
Never. I don't see that on Glenn Close at all. I don't see that on Glenn. It's not giving Glenn. It ain't giving Glenn Close. Now you done took it too far. You took it too far with that. I liked it, Selena. Okay, so what do we have next? I told you guys that I wanted to talk about what's going on in AI music. So let's get into that because SZA had some thoughts. Kehlani had some thoughts. Timbaland disagrees. So let us go into this craziness with this AI artist. All right, so apparently there is a movement for AI music to actually be given record deals and record deals to the tune of $3 million. I am going to play you guys a little clip of what that music sounds like. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear.
You don't hear me at all. You got the key, but you won't set me free. I'm locked up behind these walls.
So that's supposed to be an AI artist by the name of Zanaya Monet. Could you hear her singing?
Yeah, I heard Zanaya Monet. Yeah, Zanaya
yeah, sure.
Why are we trying to get her name right, child? You just said we want to get the real people name right. Here we go. Go on here, girl.
Okay, I'm trying to get. Listen, Zanaya was created by a poet and a designer named Talisha Jones, using the AI platform Suno that turns her lyrics and her poetry into songs. Now, Suno is an app that is either co-founded or backed or supported, I don't know, child, by mega producer Timbaland. So he has been a big proponent of kind of accelerating AI music. This is the wave of the future to him. And lots of people disagree, so that when used in this way, especially in giving actual record deals for an AI artist, you have taken things too far. So this is what artist Kehlani has to say.
R&B artist who just signed a multi-million-dollar deal and has a top 5 R&B album, and the person is doing none of the work. I think you guys think that AI can just be the cover for something, which some people can use. They can make an AI cover. AI can also make the entire song. It can sing the entire song. It can make the entire beat. You can have a song that's one type of song and say, AI, make this into a country song, and it'll literally rewrite, re-sing in a country voice and redo the entire thing. And they don't have to credit anyone. This is so beyond out of our control. And nothing and no one on earth will ever be able to justify AI to me, especially not AI. There is an AI series worked for their entire lives.
So Kehlani goes on to detail her disdain for how real artists are, disregarded in music. SZA shared the same sentiments. She came online and she let everyone know that she hates AI. She hates what's happening to the craft. I think they have 1000% some valid points, considering that, folks are barely getting paid that are actually writing the songs and singing the songs, and they're publishing and rights are getting split so many different ways that they never see or recoup any earnings. So why would we be giving $3 million deals to someone that is not creating this? Thoughts on this, friend? Thoughts on Zanea Monáe and Timbaland?
I wish send it straight to hell. Send it straight to hell. Send it all to hell. This is the dumbest ish I have ever seen, heard. I'm still trying to process the entire, if the woman is a poet, be a poet. If the woman is a poet that can turn into a songwriter, sell your songs to real artists. This is everybody return to vinyl and go support live music. This is just so bizarre. Music is one of the things that heals our souls in moments of, what despair, or speaks to our heart chakras when we are, unable to express ourselves, and we're like, oh my gosh, it fills you up with so much human emotion. This is just another way to pull us further away from the human experience. And see, everybody be looking at me like, girl, we are in modern times. Come on in the room. And I'm like, nah, I want to come in the room. Room is weird. Y'all weird over there. I knew it when that auto-tune, when they came up on the scene with the auto-tune. And I'm like, what is this? This is why, and anyone who knows me knows I am a major fan of live music and real instruments. I don't even necessarily like all of the stuff created with, the mixing board in the studios. I'm not even the biggest fan of that. I love hearing an instrument. This is so, why are they paying? Who are they paying $3 million to? What is going on?
And that's a good question. Because are we paying $3 million to Talisha? Are we paying $3 million to it kind of is very murky, because right now the legislation is still not done on the copyrights and who owns the licensing and the publishing for anything that you do for AI, because most of it is based off of stolen work and derivative works. And so right now, as it stands, you can't own a license or own material. You can't get that copywritten. So it's you can't get that protected in any way as it stands right now. There's still to be continued. It's and also it's just is this all a scheme that perhaps maybe Todd set up? Is this just Timbaland putting this misinformation out there to get people to use this Sono app that he's invested in? I would expect more for him. I understand the idea of I understand the idea of the tools don't control whatever, it's the artist that controls the tools, right? And so you're always supposed to be able to leverage whatever new tools are available and just add them to your tool belt. But as someone who is so prestigious in music and had to get it from the mud and actually learn his craft, and work and put years of intention and sweat, there's like, you have to respect that on a level that you wouldn't want somebody to just come up behind you and just say, I pressed 3 buttons and now done. Like, it's just, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, friend. And
it's a no. It's a hell to the no. No.
That there should be some regulation to say, hey, if you are maybe like a company that earns between X amount of dollars and $250,000, like the way there are different tiers with like how you pay out in SAG or other things, you should not be able to license or use this tool in a different way. It should be like, if you're somebody that's like, you're one person something and you don't have access to a studio, you don't have access to hiring the drummist, hiring the engineer, hiring all these people, and you want to use these tools temporarily and you don't make an excess amount of money, then you can use these tools. And as soon as you start making some type of profit, or maybe you make it that they can't make profit off of it, but if you allow them to make profit out of it, it should be, you then now have to use that money to actually now go hire the people and recreate it with humans. Like, it should not be these multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar already existing conglomerates and companies that are purposely getting rid of their resources and replacing their resources when they have the means to pay these people to create this, and they're just being exploitative, super exploitative of the system. It's not you doing that because of lack of access, it's because you're a greedy corporation.
This is even a different level than that, because this reminds me of that deep state stuff that it was a show I watched a long while ago. It was on Showtime. It was called The Dark Net. And like, this is reminding me of that, because this is going to get people actually idolizing and obsessing over an AI character. Do we call them characters? Which is not a real person. I really genuinely hope that most humans do not take to this the way that we sent them holograms back. Remember when they were trying to make the holograms of the deceased artists a thing, and we was like, absolutely not. Let them people rest in peace. So I hope that this fades out just as quickly as that did in terms of AI. Like, I'm sorry, if you are a fan of live music and you've been like to a festival or a live concert, we were talking about Coachella earlier, and we saw how Sabrina Carpenter manifested her being, a headliner the following year. Like, if you're a fan of all of that, nothing is gonna like give you that feel like that. It's just not possible. You're gonna find that music is far more spiritual. So even if they go down this path for a good 3 to 5 years, people are gonna find they're not connecting with the music like that. I really do believe that. And I don't believe nothing in Timbaland, just because I know you said you expected more of him. I don't expect nothing of that man, but that's another story.
Okay, we don't have time today. We'll do it. So let's move on from this AR artist to an actual artist that has her new album out. We can go into Cardi B. Has her new album out called Am I the drama. I got a chance to listen to this. Cardi ate with this album. First of all, let's get into the features. On this album, she has, let me see if I have my list. There was Kehlani, there was Tyla, there was Summer Walker, her and Selena Gomez. Personally, that's my favorite song. She even has Janet Jackson on the album.
Wow.
Okay? This album was so good. So it was so worth the wait, Cardi. It was so worth. Now, she's going in on a couple of people. Okay.
I heard, yeah.
Now the nieces had to tell me online because I didn't know who she was talking about for this one song. So apparently her and JT have beef.
Yes,
I was unaware, but I quickly found out because she has a song on her album I think it's called Magnet. And Cardi says the following. I mean, it was just such a vibe. But she tells, listen, this is allegedly about JT because she did not say a name. But she says, where did it go? She says something about him where, okay. Your loyalty depends who you around, A-B. Back dough ho, hating on the low, A-B. You a shady, A-B. You been trashed since birth. Mama didn't want you, Brenda's baby, A-B. She then goes on at some point to say, she just mad she got a ninja she be sharing bags with. And I think that was the clue to let everybody know that she was talking about JT, because I think JT dates Uzi, little Uzi Vert. Y'all, auntie trying.
Little Uzi Vert.
And they be wearing, he wears the bags. And so this was shots fired at her. Now, what was clearly a diss was the song Pretty and Petty, in which she specifically calls Bia out. You know, Bia and her had a little back and forth. She comes in strong on the first verse and says, name 5 Bia songs, gun pointing to your head, I'll wait. And she goes, I'm dead. Why would you say that, Cardi? Why would you say that? She goes on to call this girl a Labrador, a lap dog, tells her mama messed around with Mike Men and that her mama's trifling and she thinks she cute because she light skinned. It was a lot. But overall, the album, I enjoyed it. It was a good time, Cardi. It was a good time. Now, mind you, Cardi also took to, who was this interview with? Gayle King. Let's see if I can pull a little bit of this up, because this was hilarious too. Gayle King asked her, you don't have to respond.
Crazy. That's why some celebrities, they do drugs, they start developing mental issues and stuff like that. You have to say it. Let it out. You need to call her, you stupid, broke will never be me. Are you dumb? Like, I work for this. What you do? Like, you have to say, you have to, it's liberating.
That does make the point.
It's very liberating. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's very...
Good morning. CBS Morning. That was Cardi B's interview with Gayle King, letting her know the reason for her not holding anything back and saying exactly how she feels and engaging with some of the trolls is because she feels that other artists internalize it and they maybe turn to drugs or they start having mental health issues. And so she feels like, hey, I will just cuss the B out right then and there. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Cardi also announced that she was pregnant. Now, I was so deep into minding my business that when she told us to mind our business, that's exactly what I did. And I didn't try to figure anything out, but she confirmed that she is expecting a baby. But here, I'll let her explain it.
All platforms. And on February 11th, it will be the first day of my tour, Little Miss Drama. And let me tell y'all something. I want to let y'all know what headspace I'm in. I want this shit real fucking bad. I want this shit like I'm in the 3rd floor in the Bronx and I need to get the fuck on out. That's how bad I want it. I want this shit like it's 2016 type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Nothing and anything stopping me. This is the hard part for me. I've been waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at 2 a.m. I've been going overseas. I did fashion shows. I did music videos. Shit. I've been doing magazine covers. I have done so much. After this album run, it's straight to exercising. It's straight to dance classes. When the baby come out, my body will be loose. And straight rehearsals with all my dancers. I'm not playing. I owe this to myself, and I owe this to my fans. They've been waiting for such a long time.
So Cardi goes on to detail how she is going to have this baby, and then immediately after, I think she's dropped the date February 11th, begin touring. And that's when I was like, well, Cardi, you don't have to do, this is what I'm saying. There is a through line to a lot of these stories with these artists, in that having a baby is a lot, I imagine, because I ain't had one. But I imagine it's a lot on your body. It takes a lot for you to actually recover. Maybe requires a little bit of gentleness, a little bit of time to actually heal, some additional time to bond with the baby, and perhaps maybe not stressing out immediately about going immediately out of the tour and taking dance classes and getting back in shape, and would not be prudent. And I just wish that Cardi didn't feel like she had to do that. And I wish that someone at the label or the team would support her and being like, hey, you can wait until next year. Like, we have the music, we have music videos, we have live performances. You've given us enough to carry us until you have this baby and deliver safely, because that's most important. And then maybe, you know, in the summertime or maybe top of next year, go on tour. But she seems very adamant that she's trying to get it done immediately. Thoughts on Cardi B and her newest edition coming along and her trying to immediately go out there and put on a tour?
I think that people have had their opinions and their foot on Cardi's neck for such a long time, because when was her last full project dropped? How long ago was it?
7
years.
I
think 7 years, right? So I think that this is why she feels that pressure. She'll come and she'll tell us like she gonna do what she wants to do, and y'all not finna make her go out there, and I'm gonna drop the music if I want to, and maybe I just won't drop any. I remember she said that like last year. I'll leave that in the past. But I think that her fans have literally been begging her for a new project. And I think it was something she was genuinely excited about. And she's been telling us how hard she's been working on it. And sometimes babies just come when you're in a different place. Like they just, I don't know this woman's business, but I would imagine that this particular baby was not nowhere near planned. Doesn't mean it's not a welcome surprise, but I think this was already just the direction she was headed down. And she's just like, no, the momentum is there. The creativity is there. The right team is there. I don't want to jump off right now.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know. It's sad. I wish that mothers felt more supported. And I just think that's a cultural thing here in the United States, period, that you feel rushed to work and get back into it. And really hope that even though she said this, if something changes and she doesn't feel up to it, because I remember when Beyonce did this, I think Beyonce did this a few times, pushing herself to throw on concerts. I think the first one she did was After Blue, and she did it in one maybe a residency in Vegas. Was that what she did? I don't know if it was Vegas or someone else, but she didn't like tour, but she said after she would never do that again. That was very taxing on her body. And then the same thing for Coachella, because she had just had the twins. And so she was putting herself under all that pressure to get in shape and lose weight and learn the dances. And it was an amazing show. But afterwards, she was like, the lesson I learned is I'm not a machine. I wouldn't do that again. And I just, I hope that if anything changes down the line after Cardi has the baby and she's not feeling up to it, that she has the team and support there to be like, hey, just push the tour back because your health is most important. But I'm excited to see her. I'm excited for
she said she wanted, so I'm gonna trust what she says that she wants. She's had more babies than I've had. I've had one of one, and that's so. I'm gonna trust that she
one of those people that has like all the energy. Even though they say every pregnancy is different, she may be one of those people that's like, hey, I'm not really down for a long time after the baby, so it's fine. This has been an amazing rollout, even to the point where they are going to have a team boy versus team girl album reveal.
Cute.
So one is blue and one is pink. Like Cardi's team this time around is on it, and she looks adorable with her little baby bump. So very excited for Cardi. Did you get a chance to listen to the album at all?
I haven't, because this week I listened to Chance the Rapper's new album, Starline.
Wait, he has a whole album? I thought it was just a single.
Whole album. I've had to listen to it 3 times to catch everything.
Yeah.
It's very much so in that sort of intellectual sort of wheelhouse of like that Kendrick, where you gotta like listen to catch the meanings, because everything has like a double triple meaning going on. So it's a very conscious album. If you're just sort of just listening to it, you're gonna think it's like, oh, this just like, the music of today. But then once you start listening to the lyrics, you're like, oh yeah, it's a very for my people liberation sort of an album.
I think I heard just a piece of one song when he's kind of like talking about, hey, do you guys remember the 4 little girls in a church? And hasn't been that long, and you guys are siding alongside the oppressor more so than you care about the people that are doing those type of antics. And so I was like, immediately yes, but I didn't realize it was an entire album. So what's the name of the album? I'll have to go check it out.
It's called Starline.
Okay.
Yeah, and he is out here passing out like CDs. Now there's this thing you can do with the QR code where then like you just hit it with your phone and then or like touch the album with your phone or something, and then you get all of the songs downloaded digitally. But it's really cool the way he has this being rolled out. So he's gonna be on a tour as well coming up. So it's really cool. I really enjoying the album and the deep thought he put into it. This is really getting back to what rap used to be, where it's like poetry over a beat. And that's what this feels like. So I'm excited for him.
This is good for Chance too, because I think that when he's in this pocket, when he's in like the, what would you call it? We used to call it like backpack
Chicago rapper pocket.
Yeah. I think that's where he does
thrives.
Yeah. So I am definitely going to check that out. Okay, let's move on. Let us go to some more upsetting real world. I'm just seeing a message come in. Okay, let's go into some madness, child. We can talk about Trey Reed.
Ooh, Lordy, Lord.
Another day in America. Okay, so where do I start with this story? I'm just going to pull up this article. And then I'll share it with you guys and we can read it together. Okay, so this is USA Today. This article is Mississippi releases the autopsy of Trey Reed, the Delta student that was found hanging from a tree. This was September 19th. This article was written on September 19th, 2025. He was found maybe a few days after the whole Charlie Kirk shooting, and a lot of the threats went out, remember, to Black students across different campuses. And so the timing of this is, it needs to have that context. And I think that a lot of other mainstream media is missing that. But here it talks about how an autopsy was completed by the Mississippi State Medical Examiner's Office. And it concluded that the body that was found hanging from a tree actually at Delta State University actually died by suicide. Okay. The findings of the autopsy were conducted on September 17th and were consistent with the initial investigation and preliminary examination by the local coroner's office, according to the Cleveland Police Department. The state medical examiner's office has determined that Trey Reed's cause of death was hanging in the manner of suicide, and final toxicology results are pending. They make a note here that it may take up to 2 to 4 weeks to complete the final toxicology reports. FBI, I guess, materials have been turned over to the FBI to review. Who knows how far it'll go with the FBI, right? So this all stemmed from a September 15th event at 7:05 a.m. local time, where Trey's body was found hanging from a tree behind pickleball courts in the middle of the Delta State University's campus. Okay. The article goes on to talk about conversations of Mississippi's long history of racial violence. I do want to also share that the last update that we have is that Colin Kaepernick is going to get involved and help fund an independent autopsy for Trey's family. And so here in this People article, it reads that an initiative started by activists and former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick will pay for a second independent autopsy for a student who died by suicide on his college campus earlier this month. Attorney Ben Crump is involved now. He's representing the family, and he announced that Kaepernick's Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative will cover the cost of this autopsy. This is great scene. There's also stories, I guess, that were going around either online, I don't know if they were disproven, that Trey was initially found with broken bones. The family themselves, let's see if I have that. I don't know if I have that. Let's see. I know that the grandfather spoke to the press and said that he was initially told by the police that his grandson was found in his dorm. So there was just a discrepancy in how police handled the investigation from the top. Listen, I don't know how we can be more clear. Black people, Black men do not commit suicide by hanging themselves from trees. That is just not a thing.
They would never do that to their mothers and their grandmothers. They would just never do that.
It's just not a thing. And I don't believe this was the only case of a lynching that happened in this time frame.
Yeah.
We're up to like 3 people. I believe one person was white, the other 2 were black. I believe 2 were also in Mississippi. I'm not sure of the other occurrence, but yeah, I keep thinking about, what was his name? Was it Kendrick Johnson? He was an athlete that was found rolled up
in the mat.
Rolled
up in the mat, yeah.
In some kind of way, there was no foul play with that. So I guess he just rolled himself up in the mat.
In a heavy mat.
And
most of us remember you couldn't even pick those mats up by yourself.
Yeah.
They were super heavy. This is really incredibly disheartening. It's so sad. Imagine you send your son to college. You're super excited. He's down there, you know, making his way through college, learning new things, gaining new experiences. And then you get this phone call, and it's like one of the most devastating phone calls you could ever receive in your life. And then in the way that they tell you that your son has been lost, it's insane. There was a witness saying that there was some sort of argument hours the evening before.
Okay.
That's still sort of developing, but this headline reads that Delta State student saw Trey Reed in heated discussion night before his hanging on campus. So if they actually do their jobs, and Ben Crump is down there, and I hope he does what he does best and, you know, keeps his foot on their necks. So, and even if they, because we know how they operate, don't do the investigation, get out of the way and allow for private investigations to take place. I don't know why you would have no interest in finding out what has happened to a member of the community. Like, why, like, you know, but yeah, Black people, Black men hanging themselves from trees, given our history, is just, it's simply not a thing. Like, no matter how much people want to make it a thing, it's not a thing. It's not to say that Black people are exempt from, you know, issues that may lead to them harming themselves, but this would not be the way. This just wouldn't be the way. There are certain things that we just know statistically, based on data, this would just not be the way. And there's just certain things that we just know culturally that it's just, this is not, he wouldn't have done this to, he would have thought about that. He wouldn't have done this to his family.
The NAACP echoes that sentiment. They have a quote here in USA Today from the NAACP stating, "You have to excuse our skepticism amidst growing racially motivated violence targeted at our communities across the nation." They put in a social media post on September 16th that read, "A man was lynched yesterday." They go on to say, "So while we wait for more formal autopsy reports and information, we offer this piece of history with a level of certainty our people have not historically hung ourselves from trees."
And it's so funny, or not, it's just strange, because the week that this happened, and this would have been pre-recorded, we were just talking about Chance the Rapper's new project. One of the songs on the album is called Trees, and he is specifically talking about, you know, the lynchings, and he said he's going to keep talking about lynchings in this country because they never actually stopped. And then this happens. But I forget which podcast he's on, having a deeper conversation about it, but I do find this very interesting.
Yeah, I definitely think that there is a connection for sure to the events that happened um, as a result
A
of
few
the
days
Charlie Kirk.
before.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
sending some peace, and hopefully we get some transparency, a resolution. I
And a
have
fair
so many
investigation.
thoughts. It's just like anything that I want to happen, I know in this country, realistically, will not happen, but
Well,
especially communication.
they are ignoring the biggest issue in this country, and that is the radicalized groups that are popping up, and they have been. And until this administration, we had tons and tons and tons and tons of data. And they are doing away with that data, doing away with those investigations. Those investigations are not currently happening. And to control them, they need to stay like constantly, because this is not even something that we could be 30 years later with the best FBI investigating these radicalized groups, and we'd still have a problem. So imagine now an administration that has cold turkey stopped. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
In the meantime, that brings me to my next topic. Because clearly nobody is coming to save us. Let me see if you can see my screen. I'm pulling up this article for Political that talks about how the House recently approved a Charlie Kirk resolution. This occurred on a bipartisan vote. The House approved a resolution on Friday to honor Charlie Kirk, or as I like to call him, community college dropout Charlie Kirk. A week after the conservative activist was assassinated in an event in Utah. Notably, Democratic leaders and nearly 100 rank and file Democrats joined the Republican to adopt the measure on a 310 to 58 vote. Goes on to say the ceremonial measure, which was introduced by Speaker Mike Johnson, condemns the murder and praises Kirk as a courageous American patriot who boldly lived out his faith with conviction, courage, and compassion. It also calls upon all Americans, regardless of race, party affiliation, or creed, to reject political violence, recommit to respectful debate, uphold American values, and respect one another as fellow Americans. 58 Democrats opposed this resolution. Another 38 voted present, and 22 didn't vote at all, which means that 95 Democrats voted yes to passing this resolution. I am disgusted. So if this, continues to go through on October 14th, which is coincidentally the birth date of George Floyd, we will have a national remembrance for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts on this, friend?
My thoughts are the October 14th will be a remembrance day, and I hope you join in the celebration of George Floyd's life. It is gaining a ton of traction on socials, and so check with your local activists to find out the celebrations that will be taking place online and in person for George Floyd. It's going to be amazing.
A few notes. It took Martin Luther King Jr.'s family 15 years to get a national remembrance day in his honor. This is why we have people like this in office, because time and time again, the Democratic Party pulls bullshit like this that makes people at most apathetic to say, hey, you're not standing with me. You're not reflective of my voice. You're just kind of two sides of the same bird. And this is clearly demonstrative of that being the case, because if you're not willing to courageously, boldly stand by your people who have represented you in office and say, hey, absolutely not. We do not agree with having a Remembrance Day for a Christian nationalist who spewed hateful rhetoric on his platform every time he press published, who purposely miscategorized important events such as the Civil Rights Act and the Civil Rights Movement, civil rights leaders, Black women in professional spaces, Black men in professional spaces. Like, that was his work. That was his work. So when it comes time to election and we're like, hey, why are we splitting hairs about this? There's clearly a more offensive side. These are the type of events that Democrats pull that people remember, that make people say, you know what, let it all fall down. And it's clearly fallen. It's clearly fallen. I am disgusted by the Democratic Party. And I cannot believe that 95 of y'all went in there and voted yes on a resolution to give this white supremacist a day. On the heels of Black people, Black students being threatened at campus, on the heels of white nationalists taking the streets violently, talking about some white men fight back. You guys you can't even repeat his own words without facing repercussions, but he gets a national holiday.
I think the universe is really speaking to us. I think shortly after the election, you and I, it wasn't that shortly, it was maybe a month or so, we had conversations about, well, conversations will be had. Conversations will be had. Because we were talking about the FAFO, fuck around, find out.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something is just so poignant. First of all, how the irony in which the man was killed. And then he had some choice things to say about George Floyd. And then to share a birthday with George Floyd. And I'm just like, you don't even have to be deep in your bag of spirituality or duality or understanding shadow selves. You don't have to be deep in your bag and all of that. If this is not like the universe speaking to something, I don't know. Like, there's so much irony here. There's so much to be said and to explore and to have these conversations. I'm not expecting this other side to have those conversations, to be fair and clear. But if ever there was a time to really be tapped into your third eye, be woke, it is absolutely now. Because I am trying to figure out what does all this duality mean? Everything is being revealed. Nothing is being kept from us. Nothing is secret. Everything is out on the surface, and you don't have to dig far to get the truth at all anymore. And so it's very interesting. Everyone basically is like writing their name down, and it's like, okay, note it, you gotta go. Note it, you gotta go. Note it, you gotta go. And it's like, they're not even hiding it. It's like, now we know. Thank you. That's where I'm at with it. I'm not even gonna get like bent out of shape get upset, any of those things. We knew what it was after election. Again, nobody be listening to us. 92% is always out here to tell everybody everything.
This is why, like, you can't you risk your credibility to say that you're the better party. Like, you can't be a better party by half of an inch. Like, that doesn't resonate with most people. You have to be completely the antithesis of bad and evil and everything wrong. And right now you're looking very complicit. And this is why we have these stupid conversations come election, because people have in their long-term memory, there is no difference. I will just not vote. I will not participate. I will be apathetic. Let the cards fall where they may. Like, stop doing stupid shit, Democrats. Like, stop it. Moving on. Because they not gonna listen to me. Like, they're and if it quacks like a duck and it sounds like a duck, it might be because you are a duck and you are looking very complicit-ish. Like, you looking real familiar.
Well, hopefully it galvanizes individuals to get up and steal their seats that should be in them.
Yeah, let us take a look at some of the other fallout that has happened regarding this Charlie Kirk.
Oh, Lordy.
Child, because everybody losing their job. Everybody is losing their job. Some people ain't even really said too much. Now, me and you talked about in our last episode some steps and precautions that the everyday person can take to help protect them against experiencing job loss or suspension or adverse action in their workplace. Who knew that we would need to be telling this to Jimmy Kimmel? Because he recently was put on indefinite suspension for his commentary on Charlie Kirk, which I feel like they've taken a lot of clips out, but what I could gather, it was very meaningless. He pretty much really
I'll say exactly what he said. I know precisely.
Go for it.
Jimmy Kimmel said, so the press was out and they asked Donald Trump, they asked President Trump, what did he think about, how is he feeling after, the murder of his good friend, Charlie Kirk? And he was so, he was so overwhelmed about his friend that he started talking about the ballroom. And then it cut to the construction of the ballroom and the clip of Trump saying, oh, they're building my ballroom. It's great. Like, imagine me asking you, hey, how do you feel about how are you after Sarah's, demise? How are you feeling? And then you responded and you told me about some new Jimmy Choo shoes you just bought. That's how Donald Trump responded. So it was interesting because Kimmel was actually calling out how everyone is so mad at people that were not his friend, not in support of him, didn't agree with anything that this man said. You all were so mad at them, but you're not mad at your leader? Where when he was asked about his thoughts and feelings about this man's death, he said, the ballroom is coming together so nicely. They're getting a lot of work done. That's what he said.
I was just hoping maybe there was another clip somewhere that was missing where he referred to Charlie Kirk as a racist Klan member.
It wasn't about Charlie Kirk. It was about the president, which all late night hosts always talk about the president, no matter which side, left, right, Dem, Republican, GOP, liberal. It doesn't matter. That's what late night hosts do. Like 40% of their material is usually about the president, good, bad, or indifferent. And so all he was talking about was these reporters literally said, President Trump, how are you feeling after the death of Charlie Kirk? I know he was your good friend.
The ballroom. I was in there building.
I feel great.
That way multiple times. Yeah, that was.
But you got problems with people that never was in support of, like, how? So it's just all this. So what Jimmy Kimmel was doing was softly calling out all of the hypocrisy, okay, and calling out the fact that you all are saying that all of these people over here are so heartless and they're cold and they're this. Man is talking about a ballroom that didn't nobody ask for, that you spending all that money on.
And it's so ugly and tacky and gaudy. Let me read a bit from, this is a Vox article titled, "Let's Be Clear About What Happened to Jimmy Kimmel, Trump's Most Brazen Attack on Free Speech Yet." They start, "Let's be clear about what just happened. Jimmy Kimmel, a prominent late night comedian, was just taken off the airwaves because the Trump administration didn't like what he had to say and threatened his employer until they shut him up. The Trump administration, it appears, has learned to effectively weaponize the regulatory powers of the federal government to punish speech it doesn't like from people it doesn't like. This is a favored weapon of modern autocrats. Its deployment against Kimmel is qualitative escalation, even above the administration's previous acts of censorship. And what just happened, in short, shows how far down the authoritarian road the United States has just traveled in just 8 months. Kimmel's downfall began with some admittedly ill-advised speculation in Monday's monologue. Kimmel said, "We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang, desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it." I mean, was there any lies? I mean, they did try to, JD Vance went on to Charlie Kirk's podcast and said that most of the crazies and the radicals were on the left. And we know that that is just not the case when it comes to these domestic terrorists and these mass shooters or the person who actually shot Charlie Kirk.
And we addressed that last week with photos.
Did. Yep, with the photo evidence.
Follow the bouncing ball.
And FBI reports and reports from Homeland Security. At the time, the evidence suggested the shooter very likely was not a MAGA believer, and evidence released the next day showed that he almost certainly was on a political left. But Kimmel's aside, in a monologue mostly focused on mocking President Donald Trump, did not justify what came next. During a Wednesday podcast appearance, FCC head Brendan Carr threatened to revoke the broadcasting licenses of any stations that continue to air Kimmel's content. I just did not know that one could do that. Okay, thought there was some conflict of interest with doing that. Brendan Carr said, "It's time for them to step up and say this garbage isn't something that we think serves the needs of our local communities." Carr's threat should have been toothless. The FCC is prohibited by law from employing the power of censorship or interfering with the right of free speech. This is a very narrow and rarely used exemption for news distortion, in which a broadcast news outlet knowingly airs false reports. Okay. It then goes on to detail how even months before the shooting, this Carr character was investigating complaints under the exception against ABC and CBS stations, specifically allegations of anti-conservative bias. Stations had to take Carr's threat seriously, even though Carr himself had declared in a 2024 tweet that the First Amendment prohibits government officials from coercing private parties into suppressing protected speech. Okay. Right after, like literally hours after Carr's Wednesday threat, Nexstar, who is the largest owner of local stations in America, suddenly decided that Kimmel's comments from 2 nights ago were unacceptable. And it goes on to say that it should be noted that Nexstar is currently attempting to purchase one of its major rivals for a $6.2 billion merger that would require express FCC approval. So then they put out a statement that said Mr. Kimmel's comments about the death of Mr. Kirk are offensive and insensitive at a critical time in our national political discourse. This was from Andrew Alford, who serves as the president of Nexstar's broadcasting division. He said in a statement, continuing to give Mr. Kimmel a broadcast platform in the communities we serve is simply not in public interest at this current time. Okay, now it goes on to explain the Nexstar has roughly 200 stations that covers about 39% of the national market. So they have a huge stake in airing of the Kimmel show. And then right after that, ABC and Disney announced that he'd have been suspended indefinitely. Now, another player in this, aside from Nexstar, is Sinclair, because Sinclair is another media owner. Let me see if I can
affiliate company.
Yep.
Broadcast group.
Yep. So Sinclair says, and this is from their website, ABC stations to air a special in remembrance of Charlie Kirk during the Jimmy Kimmel Live time slot on Friday. Sinclair, who is the nation's largest ABC affiliate group, objects to recent comments made by Kimmel concerning the assassination of Charlie Kirk. As discussed with ABC earlier today, Sinclair decided to indefinitely preempt Jimmy Kimmel Live beginning tonight. And following these discussions, ABC has suspended production of Jimmy Kimmel Live. They're going to tell how they are going to air a special remembrance. And in addition, they're offering the special to all ABC affiliates across the country. They go on to really like hammer it and say that Sinclair will not lift the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel Live on our stations until formal discussions are held with ABC regarding the network's commitment to professionalism and accountability. They also call upon Mr. Kimmel to issue a direct apology to the Kirk family. And furthermore, they asked Mr. Kimmel to make a meaningful personal donation to the Kirk family and Turning Point USA. Regardless of ABC's plans for the future of the program, Sinclair intends not to return Jimmy Kimmel Live to their air until they are confident that the appropriate steps have been taken to uphold the standards expected of national broadcast platform. And in the boiler, they go on to detail how they own 178 television stations in 81 markets affiliated with all major broadcast networks. Okay, so it's okay when we do it. It's a problem when you do it. Because what happened to being the party of free speech? What happened to being anti-cancel culture? Where did all that go? No. For what is worth, ABC, Hulu, Disney Resorts, Disneyland, Disney World, they are deep in a F around and find out stage because people are canceling everything with the mouse attached to it. Okay, people are canceling their subscriptions to ABC. People are canceling their subscriptions to ESPN. People are canceling their subscriptions to Hulu.
You know what? So what I said earlier, in the universe, everything is being, whether it's happening in the way that one would want it to happen, it's still happening, right? So where I was talking about, like, everyone needs to really be like awake, need to wake up. It's just being forced, right? So instead of going the straight path of what you would have wanted people to do and how you would have wanted people. I just see this as a different path. As a nation, we've been talking about all of these subscriptions and conglomerates for years now. And now I've been seeing little rumblings online of people being like, why do we have all these subscriptions? We don't even own anything, right? And some people would, some people would put that in a different box and say, this goes over here, this is separate. But people are saying, you know what? I needed to do this anyway. Let me sit down and take the time to actually do this. And I've seen people out of this actually go back to the library. And I know that there's been an underinvestment in public libraries, and they've not known how they are going to continue. So now we are being like, oh, let's go back to the library and like doing what we need to do to renew our library cards. We're finding out not only do they have streaming services that are free, they also have like the audiobook services that are better than getting it off of these from these bigger companies. So things are still, I don't want us to get so apathetic with all of the things that are going on that are on the negative side that are absolutely abhorrent and evil. That we don't see the good that is still coming out of it, right? Because now we have to recognize the system and then interrupt it. Now, this is in the irony that is, there's so much irony in everything that is taking place. Here it is. We have a company, which is Disney.
Yep.
Who, however you feel about them, all of their stories over our lifetimes has all been about fighting the machine, fighting back against bullies, not letting, the status quo control your destiny. Whether it's
their investment in Lucas films alone, like, hello, who do you think the empire is versus the rebellions? Like, you're not the good people in this story. Like, follow along.
Yeah. So we are having the conversations in the smaller movements. They're going to end up like Target. They're down 7% already. And it's only been like 48 hours since people started it. And they're down. Their stock is down 7%. That's huge for such a short time. And those are the ones that, maybe didn't have to go to work in the last 2 days and had the time to do it. Wait until everyone sits down this weekend and is like, oh, okay. So
it's the way my husband didn't blink. I said, hey, I think we got to cancel Disney. And next thing I hear him over there saying, what is the reason for canceling? Y'all know what y'all did. Moments to think about it, and then when it was happening, it was like, I don't miss it. It's like I feel like they will answer or make amends faster with this being a white guy for all intents and purposes, because while other people are hesitant to join the Target boycott, it's some of everybody that has canceled. And people are like, for no other reason, like, to your point, we ain't even got the money to be sitting up. We got and cut all the jobs. We can't afford all of these streaming services that we had. We can go to the library. You're correct. So they're gonna feel this so immediately. And they're gonna, they've already had a statement of saying that this isn't permanent. They plan to bring him back. So we'll see how long it takes them and what kind of.
I honestly want to see him. I want to see him go ahead and leave. He definitely has the means to do so. Just like when Joy Reid was let go from MSNBC, Don Lemon was let go from CNN. I am really loving the content and material that we now get from the both of them. It is more robust. It is more insightful. It is more enlightening. I can see now their talents more clearly. for journalism. I can just see it so much more clearly in how they break down their stories because they're not being controlled. And so I think Jimmy Kimmel has, you know, surpassed the following, a large enough following where if he went off on his own, I could see people following him. And I think something that was in their blind spot that they did not think about, and I know this personally from my mother-in-law, she loves Jimmy Kimmel.
My mom loves Jimmy. Mama, listen.
This is
I didn't want to break it to her because my mama has been praying over Jimmy Kimmel. Do you hear me? Like, oh, I hope he's okay. Like he keeps talking about Trump. I hope he's. My mama loves some Jimmy Kimmel.
Kimmel, exactly. And so, in knowing that, I know for a fact that this is that generations before, I would say us, a little bit of us, but definitely before us. They dealt with everything with humor, dark humor, fun. That's how they escaped the society in which they were existing in, and or surviving. And so this was these late night hosts. The reason that their shows run for so long is because it is an escape from the world that people live in. And so some of these people, this is their best friend in their head that you've just taken off air. And I don't think you realize that he's been coming into the homes of Americans for many, many years now. And he gives them that laugh, that release, that, and also that thing of like, maybe the country isn't so bad, because his show is very diverse. His guests, his, you know, the I guess you'd call them like the crew that's always there. I think people were very happy with that show. And so I don't think they even thought about that. They only thought about
deep
the Orange
in
Man.
their
That's it.
FAFO era. I don't
everybody.
Listen, which brings me to my last topic. We can go ahead and wrap it up, which is, hey, why don't be listening to Black women? I don't.
Nobody does.
It's not this hard. So, in the article, or not in the article, but in an Instagram post, Karen Ataya. Let's see if I can add her to the.
Say her name again.
Karen. Listen. I'm gonna mess up somebody's name. Ataya. ATTIA. She posted how she was fired from the Washington Post because she spoke out against hatred and violence in America and how it has cost her her job. She details that the reason they fired her was because she spoke out against political violence, racial double standards, and America's apathy towards guns in response to Charlie Kirk. So much like this actually probably happened a few moments before Jimmy Kimmel. She details her journey working with or beginning to work with Washington Post 11 years ago. I do believe that she helped to start the opinions department, or that column that she works for, or she was writing for. And she only wanted to be in service of using a platform to do good. She says that her commentary was thoughtful. It had thoughtful engagement across platforms, support. There was virtually no public backlash. And yet the Post accused her Measured Blue Sky post of being unacceptable, quote, showing gross misconduct, and of endangering the physical safety of colleagues. She says these were charges without evidence, which she rejects completely as false. She says they rushed to fire her without even having a conversation. Can you imagine writing and starting up something 11 years and they just fire you? No conversation, not allowing you to speak on your behalf. She says this was not only a hasty overreach, but a violation of the very standards of journalistic fairness and rigor that the Post claims to uphold. listen. She goes on to say her journalistic and moral values for balance compels her to condemn the violence and murder without engaging in excessive false mourning for a man who routinely attacks Black women as a group, put academics in danger by putting them on watch lists, claimed falsely that Black people were better off in the era of Jim Crow, said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake, and favorably reviewed a book that called liberals unhumans. She says that she was the last remaining Black full-time opinion columnist at the Post in one of the nation's most diverse regions. Washington, D.C. no longer has a paper that reflects the people it serves. And another post I saw of her, she says that, hey, I was even critical in some of my opinions of President Obama, and nobody blinked an eye during that time. And now, ironically, President Obama is one of the people that are stepping up to defend her and defend her right as a journalist to have freedom of speech and to exercise that freedom of speech, especially in an opinions column. I wanted to just close out on this simply because for every Jimmy Kimmel, we have what now, 300,000 and rising Black women that have been dispositioned from their roles. And I don't know, it just kind of seems like we would not be here.
She got a whole lawsuit.
Well, you can tell us from your perspective.
Miss Ma'am got a whole lawsuit. I think that I honestly think that I have a lot of thoughts on this.
Okay.
First thought is Miss Ataya has an entire lawsuit because they put it in writing. Yeah. That was reckless. You sat down and was like, stated that this man was in a protected class and all of these things, and you're accusing her of things that are untrue. The lawyer's gonna have fun with this. Go ahead, get yourself a lawyer. Lawyer's gonna be happy to see her coming. They're gonna go cha-ching. A lawyer is going to be very happy to see her coming. That's number one. Number two, this is in education. For me, this is like interactive education right now. Because I always wondered, what was it like for those older generations and our ancestors, and what did it mean to have these people around you? Because you always want to know who would have been whom during the civil rights era, who would have been whom during the Jim Crow era, who would have been whom as we were fighting for the emancipation of our people, like who would have been whom, and like we get to find out. And so I get that all of this stuff is bad, but here I could be wrong, and we can come back in 5, 7, 10 years and see it if I was right. I really, honestly, I don't think these corporations realizes that what they're doing is like they're cutting off their nose to spite their face, because they're very short-sighted, right? They're very short-sighted. Target didn't see what it was doing. And that's going to be that way for forever. That's once Black people start saying, oh, we don't go there, it'll be 15, 20 years from now. They'd be like, why we don't go to Target? Be like, we just don't.
We don't.
It won't, the story would have been changed by the time it gets there. And it'd be like, we just don't go there. Yeah. And I think it's going to be like, oh, I don't read the Washington Post. Why we don't read the Washington Post? Doesn't matter. Don't read the Washington Post. I don't think they realize the irreversible harm that they are doing to their own organizations. Because one thing we know for sure, two things we know for certain, even if it is in the background, but it always ends up being the main event. It's the entree, and that is Black people in this country. We drive culture in the country, whether it is in the moment or eventually. It is where people come to be authentic. When they are looking for something and they want it to feel authentic, It always comes back to Black people. So if Black people are not going to be a part of your organization, what's going to happen? Eventually, maybe not today, but eventually you're not going to have what you have. But baby, this Miss Ma'am got a lawsuit.
I have so many notes, and I think that I think it really comes down to these organizations not having a value or not seeing the value of Black business and being willing to not engage with us, thinking that it can't, to your point, irreparably harm them down the road. These organizations are so short-sighted. These people in this country are so short-sighted. And you know, it's only going to take us a second. It's going to take us a quick second to figure the answer out. And we're going to get the answer, and there's going to be a huge Google sheet, and it's going to be spread within the community. We're not even going to talk about it online. It's going to spread from church to church, family, household to household, and we will never, ever patron your business again. Ever. And you're going to wonder one day why we can't participate in this $1 trillion ecosystem from this particular people. And I just want you guys to point to this era. This era is going to be critical in how we have relations moving forward with businesses that mistreat us and mean us harm and purposely they have I'm pretty sure so many of these businesses just come in with like your Deloitte's and your other consultants, and they weigh the risk, right? They say, hey, we don't think we're going to get too much pushback, so you can go ahead and not do right by this person, or put out this campaign and put a monkey in a sweatshirt, or you know what I mean? Like you can play, you keep thinking you can play with us until one day you can't. And
until one day you can't.
And now your doors are closing. So hey.
I know for a fact everyone, when they are looking for something, I mean, I maybe they don't read statistics. They don't do that. They were over there on, you know how like when the influencers situation first started, when everyone started getting these influencer deals, and then it used to be like the beauty brands and all that, and they would start complaining like, a lot of the brown girls, the Black girls, they don't get the deals. They're not getting the deals. Turns out people trust Black women the most when they're interested in a new product. So when you're scrolling through TikTok and you get that little ad that comes up and be like, let me tell you, you need this. Let me tell you why. They're less likely to keep scrolling when it is a Black woman that's talking to them.
Yeah.
And the beauty brands are finding out the same thing. And I'm just like, you can't change what's true. Like once it's clicked in someone's head, you can't just go and click that off.
If you really just put it, it's going to be a hard year for us, but we're going to look back on it and going to be like, who were the breakout stars of Love Island? Shelly and Olandria. Who was the biggest selling artist to go on tour this year? Beyonce. Like it's going to be all these things that are going to be so
metamorphosis.
You're going to see the power of Black women and Black culture and Black business and the Black dollar. And listen, if you worry less about us, that has been our point. Worry about what y'all over there doing so that we can have the space and the breath to take care of what we need to do over here without being over policed and over manipulated. Yep. And we will get it together. Trust and believe we will get it together. And right now you're just kind of forcing our hand. You're forcing us to get it together in a way that's going to leave you out, which, hey, I'm okay with. Let's do some quick notes. All right. We're going to do a few rapid fire stuff we didn't get to earlier in the episode. Okay. Beyonce and Jay-Z are rumored to be leaving the United States. Any thoughts on Beyonce and Jay-Z getting the hell up out of the United States of America?
No, I too have discovered a site that will help you get out of the United States of America for those that are not as wealthy. So more power to them. You know?
Yeah, I'm happy for them, and I'm happy for anybody else that decides to leave this abusive, raggedy place. Chris, oh no, not Chris, but Kanye West was seen yelling at Kris Jenner and seen from his, I guess, is kind of already out documentary. He is belligerent. He is telling Chris that he is the cause of his mental state, and Corey had to be there to kind of stand in between him because he was going off. Kris Jenner, for her part, was very poised, very calm, very demure. Said, I know, yay, I know, I understand. Like, she did all the right things. Any thoughts on Kanye yelling at somebody else's mama?
No, I ain't got nothing. You know what? I have a very hard time letting 03, 04, 05 Kanye go. Mere fact that this man spoke his entire life into existence as a cautionary tale to others, and then he became exactly it. I don't know if the man is some sort of seer or what is going on? Like, how does that happen? I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm gonna unravel my life.
They say
and then do it.
The word, the what they say, you gotta speak. The word is so much power. There's so much power in the tongue. You have to be careful.
You have to be so careful
over yourself. I do want to see this documentary. I'm very interested in seeing. I will not go see it in theaters, but as soon as it comes to somebody's streaming that's not Disney or Hulu or ESPN or Sports Center, so Jimmy Kimmel, I will watch it. Jaden Smith was recently named the creative director of Maison Christian Louboutin. I think that's great, but apparently there are people out there who say, hey, I actually am a creative director, and I have been working as a creative director for many years, and all of my opportunities are non-existent because celebrities just get put in this position. Thoughts on Jaden?
I think this is where duality comes in for me. On one hand, I want to be like, yeah, no. First of all, how old is he right now? 27?
I'm not sure, but if you remember, Jaden Smith already had a clothing brand out called Misfits.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe he is the founder, maybe the co-founder of Just Water. So he's not new to running businesses or being a brand or the face or ambassador of fashion brands. And I mean, he comes from this Smith legacy. So it's not a far jump for him to do something in fashion and be in a very high profile position. And he is going to be the first, I believe, creative director for
male
men's line. Yeah. So it's really, really dope.
You know what I think? I think a lot of these legacy brands are dying in the sense of they may have their staple people that may be a generation above or two that are still very much so into it. But when it comes to innovation, new things for Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I don't think that they know what direction to necessarily go in. Those generations are very hard to get a grasp on because we used to do things sort of almost in lockstep, if that makes sense. For example, I'm gonna go left. I'm gonna come right back.
Now, this is supposed to be rapid fire, friend. This is supposed to
Rapid
be
fire.
rapid fire.
But we used to, if you remember, as millennials, we used to do everything sort of in lockstep. We were reading the same things. Our attention span was not everywhere. And so I think now they just don't know how to guide it. So they use people or utilize people like a Jaden Smith, has tons of popularity. He's tapped into everyone. He has a very diverse audience. And so they're like, bring people over here. That's what he can be talented as a creative director and in fashion and everything, but I really think that's what it's about.
I agree. It's what we just talked about. It's people are going to be leveraging Black culture, Black audiences, and you know,
yep.
It is what it is.
He's into everything. He's into music, everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, last quick note. This is quick. LeBron James sat down in an interview with Speedy Mormon and said, for what it's worth, him and Drake are still cool. But meanwhile, Drake has replaced his tattoo of LeBron with somebody else's jersey. Any thoughts on LeBron and Drake's frenemyship, Drake's tattoo?
I know I be late. I be tardy to the party all the time. Why did Drake have a tattoo of LeBron on his body?
Not anymore. They had a feud, and now he's tattooed it over and replaced him with some other man's jersey. Mm-hmm.
Child, okay. I'm gonna process that. Go, you tell me.
My quick note is Drake needs a wife. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Drake needs a wife. All right, we're gonna go into our closing notes. Tee, do you have any closing notes for us to listen? This episode, we had a lot going on, a lot to talk to. Any closing notes about anything we talked to today or anything overall that we didn't get to talk about?
Overall, yeah, I definitely have some closing notes. I think there was this, maybe you all saw it. I don't know if your For You pages pulled this up. But there was this this woman was gorgeous. This beautiful Black woman that I saw on Instagram. It's this beautiful post, and she reminded us that good things are happening around the world. Okay. And just because we're over here in this American experiment, quote unquote, American experiment, that doesn't mean that good things are not happening. And I was like, yeah, right. We have so many good things happening in all different parts of the world. Other parts of the world are growing. Our country is currently shrinking. That's what happened with empires. We're right at that 250-year mark. But I also want to say, don't get so caught up in all of the things that are transpiring. Find some, and Tel always tells me this, find the glimmers. And so find the glimmers, lean into that. Good things are happening, maybe not in our backyard. And shout out to our mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, who finally found his spine and his backbone. We love that for him. Put some bass in his voice. I knew it was there. Who told Trump that you not putting your name on our group project? We're over here doing the work and you don't get to put your name on our group project. I absolutely loved his response to that reporter's question. And so good things are happening. Don't let this administration doing exactly what they told us they were going to do bog us down, because good things are happening. So that's my note. Good things are happening.
Again, very beautifully said, friend. I I think it's best for me at this juncture to allow my closing notes. I'll pass my closing notes to someone else because I just feel like I can't say it better than what this person has said. So I am going to let's see if you guys can I make that bigger? I don't know if I can make that bigger, but T, let me know if you can hear the audio.
Look, fuck you. Fuck the plane you flew in on. Fuck them shoes. Fuck those socks with the bell on it. Fuck your gay ass fairy faggot accent. Fuck them cheap ass cigars. Fuck your yuck mouth teeth. Fuck your hairpiece. Fuck your chocolate. Fuck Guy Ritchie. Fuck Prince William. Fuck the Queen. This is America. My president is black and my Lambo is blue, nigga. Now get the fuck out of my hotel room. And if I see you in the street, I'm slapping the shit out of you.
That's my mood. That's my mood. That's my mood. That's all I got. That's all I got. That's all I got for the people. That has been our show. Thank you so much for watching. We have some notes with Tee and Tel. Tee, where can people find you?
They can find me maybe T_Shante on all platforms. Thanks for your closing notes, Tel. Where can they find you?
They can find me somewhere trying to. I'm trying to recalibrate. T has all these nice, beautiful stories about me, and I don't have any of that sweet, nice, angelic energy for the people right now. They can find me at Chantel Chavon everywhere. Try Jesus, don't try me. I would just lead with that disclaimer. Be sure to listen to us wherever podcasts are listened to. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know if we're coming back next week because T is being kind of like traveling and isn't that
no. That's not next week.
Okay,
I will be in Aruba soon, guys, but she's pushed it up a little bit, okay? Not quite yet. Not quite there. Don't scare me.
Okay.
Now.
You're like, I ain't got nothing packed. Okay, well, we'll be back this time next week to talk about more of pop culture and entertainment news and what's going on in the world.
Unfortunately, politics.
Unfortunately. Talk to y'all later. Bye. Now, why does it do that? Here we go.